G'day Hammerheads, welcome back, and I am very pleased to be bringing you today the new Milwaukee Overhead Rotary Hammer. So this thing is called the M18FHAFOH160 in Australia, or in the States it's the 3311. So this thing is dedicated overhead drilling. They are not joking about that. So if we take a closer look, we can see that this thing is actually got this pregnant kind of shape because it has a built-in dust extractor. You can see there's a HEPA filter and stuff down there. And so basically it's supposed to be an all-in-one rotary hammer and dust extractor. And I did a video on this hammer back recently, so go check that out if you want. This is a 1-inch rotary hammer, 26 millimeters, so quite a big one. Whereas the new overhead drill is rated to 16 millimeters or 5/8. So the overhead drill is kind of the replacement for this one as well. The other thing on the overhead is it's also got this shroud at the end. So just like a built-in version of one of these sort of shrouds, which you can hook up to your vacuum. And the idea with these is you put it around the drill bit and it compresses when you're drilling, and then you attach a vacuum there, suck the dust out. So it looks like the overhead drill is meant to be a combination of this and this, but lighter, as well as an updated version of this guy. So there's quite a lot going on in this thing, and we'll see how she goes in a little bit. And this thing also has an auto stop, so that's a safety feature, so it stops drilling if the drill bit binds up. So if you're drilling and it moves unexpectedly, the sensors stop the motor. Works well. All right, and let's look at the specs. So here we have this weird ass looking thing here. Terrible long model number for some reason. The new Milwaukee hammers have these horrible long model numbers. But the important thing here is let's look at the impact energy. So they rate this thing to 16 millimeters, but the impact energy is the same as the old 1-inch hammer and about double the current 16 millimeter hammers. So if these specs are true, I expect this thing to kick absolute ass over any other 16 millimeter compact hammer out there. The side handle is actually down here near the main handle, and that's great because when you're pressing upwards, well, you know, a lot more comfortable, much better ergonomics. The side handle also pops out so you can swap the sides. And it is really solid. You can fully hold the drill just by that thing really comfortably. It also is a 1-mode rotary hammer. It does not have hammer function. It does not have drill only function. It only has hammer drill because, again, it is dedicated to drilling holes upwards. Now you'll notice it's tapping there, so it has the little tapper on the filter to keep the filter clean. But the vacuum is only half the story. It's also got this shroud. Unfortunately, the shroud isn't transparent. Probably be nice if you could see through it, but you know, it probably gets pretty dusty in there and you can't see through it for very long anyway. But this shroud is a big reason why you don't get so much dust coming out. Basically, when you're drilling upwards, all the dust more or less goes in there. The vacuum on this is not that strong. It's run by a very big fan inside there, but that's just the motor fan, and the suction really doesn't seem as strong as that dedicated hammer vac because that has its own motor and everything. So really this is relying on the shroud. Speaking of the shroud, you can lock it out of the way, mainly for storage. If you're going to be drilling upwards with this, you will have a lot more dust going everywhere because the suction in here is not that strong. And also when that's covered up, when that's closed, the shroud sort of covers up the little filter at the bottom there, so you're going to get very little suction out of it like that. That said, if you just wanted to use it like a regular rotary hammer, pull that out, you know, you're drilling sideways, downwards, whatever. I mean, I'm sure it'll work fine, but you will not have dust extraction that way. Unlike the other telescopic ones, the suction does not go with the hole. The suction does not stay on the hole. The suction is at the base of the hole. I'm sorry, guys. So yeah, really, overhead. They're not kidding when they say overhead. They really are relying on all the dust falling into this shroud and not going on your face. So earlier I actually set up a bit of concrete above me here just to actually try out the overheadness. So let's take a look at that. Now I got no ceiling insulation jobs going on at the moment, so I've just stuck a bit of concrete up above my regular test area. Just give her a bit of a drill from underneath. And I'm just going to use these DeWalt bits, so don't get in my face, Milwaukee stands. These are inch size, and I have zero use for them here in Australia, so let's see how she goes. 3/16. And the depth stop is set to 50 millimeters or 2 inches. Let's go. One quarter. Three-eighths. One half. So the shroud is black. So you need to pull it back to locate your spot where you're going to drill. And this side handle really works very well for that. So if your main push is coming from this arm, because you've got the trigger, this one really, really works for just giving your trigger arm a break, but also locating and then she's pretty good. Okay, I've just emptied the dust container. Let's see how many holes it'll do before it needs emptying again. 1/2 inch bit, 2 inches deep. Okay, so that's well and truly finished now. Yeah, so dust is coming out while it's sucking. That's done. Pretty good though. Okay, so let's just take a look at how much dust has come out. It's not dust free, but it is low dust. So you can see there's dust on all of these upwards facing surfaces, including on me, but comparatively little, you know? So let's take a look inside. And if you look down the shroud there, you can see it's got a little mesh that stops any of these big chunks going into the filter. And I'll just tip this out to see what's actually sort of held in there. Oh, okay, that's overfilled for sure. Too full. Anyway. Okay, that's pretty good. That's quite a lot. That seems like it holds more than the 1-inch drill dust extractor did. 296. Pretty good. Okay, so this little thing held a little bit more dust than the 1-inch drill. 296 versus 237 grams. So let's see what the difference is between the actual weight of the tool and how much you got to press when you're drilling. So I got this little load cell here. See, so it's around 0. Press that, goes up to 3 or 4 or so. So I'm just going to stick that under there. And so while we're holding it, it's around 0.9. Full weight of the tool is never going to be on the load cell because it doesn't balance. And then we press it into the material, it's going up to about 1.5, 1.7, 1.8, and then we drill. That went up pretty high, up to 0.3, 3 or 4-ish. So the thing is light, but you still put a fair bit more force on there than just the weight of it. So let's try that again. So it's around 1.6. I'm going to press as light as I can. Okay. She'll walk on you. Okay. So 1.5-ish. so I wasn't able to watch it, but it looked like it went up to probably more than double. You know, the fact that this is quite lightweight, that's great, because you still need to press. You still end up putting more than double the force from holding its weight when you're actually drilling. Interesting stuff. The lighter the better when it comes to this kind of thing, honestly. So this drill actually feels really powerful. It got through those 1/2 inch holes really quickly. Going by the specs on this thing, this is rated to 5/8 or 16 millimeters, but honestly, feeling how quickly it handled those 1/2 inch holes, I think this is a much more powerful drill than that. It's more like maybe 22 millimeter hammer. And one other nice design feature, and God, my arms are starting to get tired, is this little rafter hook here. So the fact that it's right there, right on your thumb, so if you're up on a ladder or whatever, you can just whack that with your thumb and then hook it onto whatever. So super handy, a nice little design feature there. Okay, so the shroud is removable with difficulty. Okay, so that's the shroud there. Okay, this is a 12 millimeter bit, so it's only got a 10 millimeter hole in there. And that is what it looks like without the shroud on. So this is all vacuum here, and that's the chuck release there. And just one other thing, guys, the drill bits go into this super tight, so I don't know how well you can see that in there, but basically the hole in there, in the chuck, super tight, basically to keep the dust out of the chuck. So if you're finding it really hard to insert the bits, that's why. Obviously 10 millimeter hole in there because SDS Plus is a 10 millimeter shank. But still, dust is going to be getting, you know, around in that area. That's your depth stop as well, so you just got to pop that in there, and then you can clip this into place. These things, not the most durable, but you can buy a new one for, I don't know, 20 bucks or 30 bucks or something. All right, so back to my regular kind of testing. Sorry guys, I'm not going to hit the bench today. You're going to have to keep looking at this. As usual with our small compact hammers, this one is only 16 millimeters, don't forget. We do a small drill test first. This is 8 millimeter or about 1/3 of an inch. And I have been using this 5 amp battery for that other testing because this is the smallest I've got, but let's just get a fresh one on there. I'll use that for the testing. And lo and behold, here she is right at the front of the pack. We've got a new champion, guys. So this is the average of 3 or 4 runs, as you can see up here. And the new overhead drill has done better than all these other hammers. Most of these are actually rated to about the same capacity. And all the previous champs, these 3 up here, the Hilti, that one's a bit underrated in my opinion. So is this one. So yeah, we got a new champion on our hands. Absolutely killer stuff. And next up, 12 millimeters. All right, for the 12 mil, where is she? All right, kind of towards the middle, 11.25 seconds. Now, most of the leaders in this pack are the biggest SDS pluses you can get, very heavy hitters. And the overhead is kind of here amongst these mostly 22 millimeter drills and ahead of every other 16 millimeter hammer on here. And the max capacity, 16 millimeters. And the max capacity, how did she go? Oh my lord, she is the champion of this category as well. Look at that, 19.6 seconds. Now in this category you do tend to get the smaller ones doing proportionally better, just because they're drilling smaller holes. But here the new Milwaukee has beaten the underrated universal hammer from Bosch. Absolutely legendary stuff there from Milwaukee. All right, guys, well, there you go. I haven't seen that test results yet, but just by using this thing, she feels super powerful for a 16 millimeter hammer. Honestly, I think this is more like a 22, something like that. But yeah, they don't want you drilling too big overhead with what's meant to be a light, ergonomically good tool. So, you know, they're just saying 16 millimeters. I'm sure she could handle a lot more than that. So I got to hand it to Milwaukee. This is an incredibly designed tool. I work in R&D myself, work with it, you know, on a team of industrial designers, engineers, all that kind of thing in my job. Unfortunately not in the power tool space, but I really do like working out what design decisions have gone into things like this. And I got to say, this is a real cracker. They've obviously listened to a lot of customer feedback. Something like this, never seen before in any tool, really good idea. Just having the little rafter hook there, super good idea. And it's not dustless, but it definitely does control the dust, even though most of the work is just done by this little shroud thing here. So this is a spectacularly well-designed tool, but it's also super, super specific. So almost none of you watching it are going to be wanting one of these. You can't chip with it, you can't drill timber with it, you can't really do anything with it but drill concrete upwards, and that's exactly what it's designed for. So a bit of a gamble for Milwaukee to go and make such a specific tool, but obviously they reckon it's going to pay off. For me and for most of you out there, what's really exciting about this is that it's actually the first in a new generation of compact fuel rotary hammers from Milwaukee. So the previous drill rated to this size, rated to 16 millimeters, is a brush tool. It's not even brushless, it's ancient. It is light, it's pretty good still, but that said, it is ancient, and I'm really looking forward to the new versions, which will probably have the same hammer stuff in here, just without all the vacuum, as this guy. Now, they have already announced a 12 volt and an 18 volt in compact hammers rated to, you know, 5/8 or 16 millimeters. So if you're wondering what kind of power they're going to have, I reckon it's going to be the exact same as what's in here, just without all the vacuum stuff. So that's going to be much more exciting. They're due out in 6 months or so, and I am dead keen to try them. So big thanks to Milwaukee for actually releasing this thing in Australia at about the same time as in America. I only just saw this come online and pre-order in America about 2 weeks ago. Then lo and behold, here it is in Australia right now too. I literally just bought this thing today. That's why I'm sitting in my backyard, because I was just so keen to get this video out. I'm just going to shoot it all and try and edit it right in the same day. Sun's gone down, as you can see. So big thanks to Milwaukee for not leaving us hanging down under for a year or so, as tool companies often do. And I'm really pleased to be reviewing this thing for you, even though this isn't the right tool for me, or probably most of you out there. I really do appreciate the design that's gone into it, and I really am looking forward to the non-vacuum-y versions coming out soon enough. And one last thing, guys, I was drilling upwards for half an hour or so before while doing this testing. I've never really done that much in rock climbing situations. Often you are, you know, hanging off a harness, drilling in funny angles, but never just straight upwards for all that long. So I have a new appreciation for all you guys out there who are doing this, all you fastener techs or, you know, HVAC guys or whoever you are, installing all that stuff that's suspended off roofs around the place. I'm in awe that you could do that, you know, all day. It is fucking exhausting, frankly. So awesome job. Thanks to all you guys out there who do that kind of work for us, put up the buildings, installing the sprinklers, everything on the ceilings. Give yourselves a good pat on the back if you're, you know, shoulders aren't fucked. All you guys out there who are putting your bodies on the line every day to build the stuff that we use, you know, good on you. And good on Milwaukee for actually listening to you and giving you something that's hopefully going to make your job a lot easier and make your body last longer. So anyway, hammerheads, thanks very much for watching. It's getting dark. I got to go put dinner on. If there's anything else you want to see with this tool, or basically any of the other hammers I've tested, I got most of them in the market, let us know. Hey, like and subscribe too. Subscription especially is how the world goes around here. This guy cost about 2 months worth of ad revenue from this channel. And you know, the more subs I get, the more revenue I get, the more bloody tools I can test. So anyway, thanks a lot. Scratch yous later. Happy drilling.